Roy Cooper signed into law the legalization of sports betting here in the state of North Carolina.
About damn time.
Right? Should happen a year ago. But nonetheless, it happened. Roy Cooper, the governor, joined the Adam Gold Show earlier today. Adam Gold Show, you can listen to noon to 3 right here on 99.9 The Fan. Hear the full conversation with Roy Cooper about sports betting and more with Adam Gold on the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast. Same place you find the Best of 99.9 The Fan podcast. It's wherever you get your podcasts. Also, it's on 99.9 The Fan's YouTube page as well. So make sure you elbow drop that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss conversations like this. Roy Cooper did talk about what it means for the state of North Carolina to finally legalize sports betting.
Yesterday was a great day for our state, finally legalizing sports wagering, something that we know is going on. Mm-hmm. And now finally we're able to allow North Carolina taxpayers to get a piece of this, to put some safeguards on it, to provide some funding for people with addiction and problem gambling, sure, and certainly help to boost our professional teams in North Carolina. We're becoming a focal point for professional sports. We've still got to get that Major League Baseball team, but I'm excited about the opportunities here. It helps a team like the Hurricanes with a salary cap and making sure that they've got outside investments to help grow the team and continue to want to stay here. So it's a big day, going to create a lot of jobs for our state.
Okay, big day. It is a big day. The thing you mentioned in there, Pat Welter, Major League Baseball.
Yeah, just dropping that nugget in there. He's ready to command and conquer here. Get the sports bills signed. Let's bring on the next one.
Exactly. Well, he talked about, again, all these top-tier professional sports teams that are here. And I say top-tier, I mean teams that compete at the highest level of their sport. So, for example, North Carolina Courage, NWSL, is the highest women's professional soccer league in the world. Courage located right here in the Triangle. Carolina Hurricanes in terms of hockey. Charlotte Hornets, Carolina Panthers. You throw in also other teams like the Charlotte FC with MLS and the multitude of minor league baseball teams that we have across the state of North Carolina, again, including the Durham Bulls. Happy Bull Durham Day. But Major League Baseball in the state of North Carolina, Roy Cooper also expounded on wanting North Carolina to obtain an MLB team.
I still think that North Carolina is a prime location for an MLB team. I don't know if it's the Triad. I don't know if it's the Triangle. I don't know if it's the Charlotte area, but I'm ready to roll on that too.
Okay. He wants a Major League Baseball team here in the state of North Carolina. Big question is that actually feasible?
I mean, it makes all the sense in the world, right?
Sure.
You look at just the map of the United States and you throw up the little logos and where all the teams are, and you got a big gaping gap here between Washington, D.C. and Atlanta, Georgia, and North Carolina are right in the center of it with two major cities, like you mentioned, that are already supporting pro sports teams and rapidly growing. How many articles do you need to see of Raleigh, North Carolina, best new place to live, fastest growing market in the country? Same thing with Charlotte on the other side of the
just
state.
North Carolina as a whole.
And, you'd love to see it in Raleigh, right? I mean, we've got the infrastructure right now with the Durham Bulls, the fan base there. They're one of the best attended minor league teams in the country. Great tradition. Now, you'd hate to squash some of that tradition by overruling it with an MLB team, but I think that'd be a trade-off you'd be willing to make. The downside for Raleigh's case, of course, is that Charlotte has the big companies, the Bank of America,
that's the
financial sector. Now, Raleigh, Durham, the Triangle, growing as a tech sector.
Yeah.
How many people got to tell you, Apple's coming.
Yeah, Apple's coming. Google's coming. Cisco's already here. SAS. I mean, but here's the thing. You also have to have the investment of those companies that actually want to get involved in sports.
And I think MLS,
attach their name to sports teams.
You look at the markets MLS has expanded into a lot of smaller off-the-radar cities, Louisville and Austin.
Well, that's a Ponzi scheme, MLS.
And that's a fair point.
It really is. That's a whole different subject.
Yeah, well, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And, I think Raleigh would have been a great fit for MLS, but David Tepper, who already owned the Panthers, made sure that team went to Charlotte.
Sure.
So there's a world where it could come here. I mean, they're already going to Vegas. Oakland is going to Vegas. I think we've got a world now where talent is coming from all parts of the world where I think NBA could expand. NBA is expanding. Seattle's going to get a team.
Yeah.
We've seen the NHL expand. Vegas just won the Cup.
Yeah.
The Seattle Kraken were in the playoffs. Expansion can work, and MLB is looking at things with a new way that they've ever been before. They're more progressive than they've ever been, so why not now? Why not us?
I don't know if it's going to be something along the lines of an expansion, but also could be a relocation.
That's true.
Because, for example,
Oakland
to Vegas, but also you mentioned the Durham Bulls. They're the AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays, who can't sell a single ticket, it feels like, at Tropicana Field. They can't. They're full opening day, and if they make the playoffs, otherwise the place is just empty, and it's not in a great place in St. Pete. Actually, is where it's located.
They actually pitched at one point sharing the season with Montreal. That was a real thing.
That was a legit thing. We're like, hey, we'll play a chunk of our games up in Montreal. And then Montreal used to have the Expos. Now they're the Washington Nationals. So those kinds of things definitely still exist out there in terms of teams wanting to move and wanting to find the best market for themselves. Heck, how do you think the Carolina Hurricanes got here?
Right.
It's because the Hartford Whalers, the Peter Carmanos, wanted to find a better market, a market that can sustain. So that's the big key when it comes to this as well, because I know there's like the MLB 919 group that's out there.
Yep, MLB to Raleigh.
MLB to Raleigh. They want that to happen here. Look, I want it to happen too. I just don't know if it's actually financially feasible, because also, where are you going to put a stadium? You got to have the infrastructure, roadways to actually get to wherever the stadium goes. My guess is RTP would actually be the ideal place to put a stadium out there. But
who's going to pay for the stadium?
Who's going to pay for the
stadium?
Who's going to pay for it? Taxpayers. With sports gambling being here, does that money also help as well? Because here's also a thing as well, is that with sports gambling, for example, let's say FanDuel, the biggest right now sports book in terms of especially mobile sports betting, FanDuel's number one. DraftKings is right there, number two, and then you have like BetMGM, Caesars, these other places. But let's say, for example, FanDuel says, we'll attach our name to the stadium. So it'd be FanDuel Ballpark at RTP. And it's the Raleigh whatever, taking place, or the Carolina whatever playing the Atlanta Braves or the Washington Nationals. And it's at FanDuel Ballpark at RTP.
And that's what the Hurricanes announced. Yesterday they had a statement come out after the bill was passed, and they said, we will now have the opportunity to build a world-class sports wagering facility to expand the entertainment options around PNC Arena. So I know you had Don Waddell on last week. I mean, this is something that's real and happening, and the sports gambling money is kind of the golden goose right now.
Yeah,
for media advertisers, for the states as far as what they could do with that money. So, yes, there is a downside to gambling. We all can acknowledge that it can be addictive. But if you are of that persuasion, you were probably gambling already, and this probably wasn't tilting the scales for you. So I ultimately think this is going to do a lot of good, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And, yeah, that would be incredible if that could help fund getting an MLB team to Raleigh. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. But
if it does happen, I don't see it happening for, at minimum, 10
these
years.
Things take a while. I mean, just working in the Florida market, and I covered the Tampa Bay Rays saga. I mean, there's a group in Orlando that's trying to get the Rays to Orlando, because Orlando, similar to us, is like, hey, we're a top 20 market now. We don't have an NFL team. We don't have an MLB team. Give us something. Well, so there's a lot of other cities in these same kind of shoes.
I mean, the big thing they have down there in Orlando, Universal and Disney. So, I mean, do they want to attach their names to a Major League Baseball team in terms of, again, sponsorship, stadium rights, all those kinds of things? That stuff all matters when it comes to these decisions. It's not just about the fan base and getting enough people to buy tickets. The financial backing of major companies when it comes to sports teams is a real thing.